Sorry about that. Because okay, so you can see that in the Act 1, these questions are all very important for you to start introducing your characters, introducing the world that you have built, and introducing the problems, the challenge that have come through the main character's way, and these how these characters they have a way to strategize on how to really just solve these problems instead of hitting ducks. Okay, on to Act 2, which is the part where you will build up to the climax here. Okay, so what does the character solve these problems? And I want you to really be able to try a way to make the solution for the problem as creative as possible, like as absurd, but still believable to some sense. The easiest way and the most recommended way for you to be able to add in obstacles, to add in little surprises for your character without it being like very without it being very without it being very absurd for why is there a problem? Because it's supposed to work out perfectly. It's a perfect and foolproof plan. So the second question here is what new people or creatures do they meet? So there might so instead of just instead of just themselves in a instead of just themselves trying to work out this problem alone, you should also have really you should also have some sort of character that can help, for example, for guide the character to the point where they want. This is what you call the mentor. The mentor doesn't have to be someone old. It can be, it could be a friend that they've made along the way. It could be a teacher, it could be a parent, whatever you want. It is one of the most flexible character archetypes that you can think of. Secondly, you could what goes wrong or makes things harder. I cannot stress this enough, but having obstacles and having challenges for your character to overcome is one of the best ways for you to be able to build your character, to build the growth onto your character. If you're going to have a character at the beginning of the story and then at the end of the story, don't change anything. That's boring, right? Of it doesn't really have any sort of symbolism for the character there. So you should add in these challenges to make it more interesting for the reader and to make the character grow, to make them grow emotionally in how they think logically, of course. Okay, what is the most difficult moment in this story? So, this is what you call the climax. The climax is where the main character, will feel at his or her lowest, and it will feel as and this is one of the most important places for you to just turn up the heat when it comes to your storytelling, because this is the place where they feel that they are at the lowest and they basically do not have no hope. This is where I also recommend you to add in what is called the trickster. The trickster is someone who cuts through uh the trickster is someone really who cuts through the conversation and a becomes something that is not bad, but it's not good either. They are not someone who is uh morally upstanding. They are not the person to be polite. They are not the person to save say sacrifice themselves for others, but they are not also the ones who are like the enemy, who are like the villain in the story. So this is one of the best ways to this one of the best places to just include the trickster because it will make your story so much more interesting. It would have so much more nuance, and it would be a great twist to your story and make it a lot more interesting compared to without the trickster. The third act is the end. This is this will continue from the most difficult moment in the story. I usually recommend with the climax ending with the character having to make a very difficult choice. A choice that is not really easy for someone to make, and they will choose. And however, and with the Act 3, with question 1 here, I do not want you to try and always choose the morally upstanding and the morally right thing. Sometimes when you try to choose the things that are if you want to challenge yourself, you can choose the thing that can be seen as not good, or it could be seen as evil, but this is your story, so you can change the way that the narrative goes, and it could basically twist itself into something that is first comprehended as evil, but then it is suddenly the most heroic thing ever. Also, this is how the character solving the problem here is I usually link it with the fact that they have made the choice, and that choice has been the catalyst for everything that will basically solve itself. This is one of the best ways. This is one of the easiest ways. But if you want it to be a bit hard, if you want to challenge yourself, you can just make this another part of the make this another part of how they act when they are of how they act when they see the problem again from someone else, from a mentor or an ally, from someone that they know. And what happens in the end of the story? Usually it would be that they resolve the problem, and they have learned something in the end. And with the fourth question, that is the best segue for the fourth question, because you should, when you're trying to answer the fourth question of how has the character changed or grown, you should not do like I wouldn't recommend for you to do like she learns that being she learns that it's better to be kind. I want you guys to do a little bit deeper. I want you guys to think of something that is a deeper moral than instead of just being this is good, being this is bad, because it's not just about being clever or brave or being kind, but I want you guys to integrate values like responsibility and what and how and rep and respect. I want you to be able to find something that is, for example, I have written a story myself, and the moral of the story is not being kind is good. I want you to say that, for example, doing the right thing is more valuable than getting what you want, because true true treasure is found in the choices we make, in the person we become. I want you guys to do a little bit something like that, because it is much better to write a story that is about something uh that is complex, about morals that are complex, instead of just small insignificant and basically you already know kind of morals, because sometimes it would feel as if we because sometimes when you write stories that are you already what I usually call you already know morals, it would feel very tacky, to be honest, because readers they already know those kinds of morals, and it would feel very awkward if you bring it up over and over again of something that's very cliched. Okay, does anyone have any questions?
No.
Any no questions, okay? Uh I will give you guys about I think I will give you guys about 15 minutes for you to just fill out as much as you can, and I will go fix and I will see if there's anything that needs tweaking, because there's this is where a lot of students go wrong. Also, do you guys know if does anyone here know Sarah? Because I checked the forms and I didn't see her name on the forms.
Oh, hey, today I got in a little late, so can you send me the link?
Uh, it's just the Padlet link.
Có gì đâu.
It's the Padlet link, but okay. I think, oh, the chat saves itself, so I don't know. Here.
So we invent a story?
Yes. We will
Alright.
start with the plot building today.
Okay. And
Đi lấy đồ đi, lấy đồ. Không, chưa đồ đổ giờ. Phải nói không biết nghe rồi bạn trò nó con bỏ đi đây. Ôi bỏ chưa? Bán. Đi, vô lấy đồ bỏ. Đây gọi là. Đổi đồ lấy đồ bỏ. Nay đồ bỏ luôn sao? Thì chứ sao không có kêu hôm nay học bài mà. Bỏ không có cái sau. Nhập chưa? Rồi ra ngoài nữa. Này trong bao nước rồi. Rồi ở dưới. Lấy gạch đây. Mà để quần vô chứ. Tôi sợ ướt áo. Tôi sợ ướt áo người ta cái đó.
Hey, can you mute it because your background is quite loud?
Well, are we going to write a story or just answer the question like?
You will need to answer really like just to answer the questions before you try to write the quote the story, of course.
So we make the story up.
Yeah, this is just the framework for the story.
Okay.
But if you done in the last lesson, do we need to do any more?
Oh, this is the new one. It's just the character for the last lesson. Check the Padlet. I've already sent it in the chat.
Teacher, I'm finished.
Yeah.
Finished my writing.
Let me check, okay?
No, my writing is just like human. But
Hey, how do you actually create another post, like another box for one person?
Like here. I'll take Lucy's. Like here, and then you just do like something,
Okay.
and then publish. Boom. If you clicked on the wrong one, you can just drag it to the right one.
Okay. You change its name, okay? You change its name.
Okay.
Teacher, I'm finished.
You're okay. Yeah, I saw it. Okay, this is good, but I really would like for you to build more on the fact of how Resort he's very loyal to his friend, and he doesn't want his tournament to be like a drift between him and his friend. So you should add more into something like, say, oh, he's my friend. Friendship matters more powers, uh, than powers, right? Something like that. You should add more on the thing that could that really just binds the whole story together because it's lacking a little. But otherwise, this is really good.
Ba.
What?
Uh, nothing.
Well, I've just finished. Can you take mine?
Yeah, you can send it whenever you're finished.
Why does finish it 5 minutes? 5 minutes before.
What, can you repeat that again?
I think it is about 2 or 5 minutes before.
Oh yeah,
Minute.
I was reading it here, right? Like the part about Sparklenesia.
I have another class, so
Okay, everyone, can you just please post it? If you, even if you're not done, please just post it because I want to see how far along you guys are right now. Everyone, can you just please publish what you're already working on? I want to see how far you guys are going along.
Sorry, but I'm not finished yet.
No, just post it and then you can continue editing it.
Here.
Okay.
It's just in the middle of the story when Maria faced the hard time.
Mm-hmm. So with a hard time, you want to wait, just let me see the story first because okay. So, when Lisa, if you want to make it hard for the character to do it, you could say that you could make it so that the evil rabbit will say, "Oh, you stayed in my house, so now you are binded to a contract that you have to help me do these horrible things," for example, like turn these girls that come into slaves, for example, that kind of thing. And then you could say, and of course, she doesn't realize that being in his house means that that would happen to her. So she has to do it. But then she finds some sort of way. For example, she would be able to talk. She'd have a power to talk to those animals. And then you can go from there.
Thank you.
Everyone else, can you just please publish it? I want to see how far along you guys are because I don't see it. I can't see most of the ones here. Ken, is this entire thing your column or wait, because I can't find your column.
It's Lucy. It's Lucy's. I asked you to change the name. Yeah, you said okay, but
Oh, okay. Sorry about that.
okay.
Let's see. Okay, Sophia? Sophia, can you hear me? Sophia? Oh, Sophia, are you here? Okay, by the way, Ken, I see that you have a really big problem with your character here. It's
All right.
fixable, but it's a really, really like hard problem. It's a problem that I see a lot of people make a mistake that you see a lot of people make, and that is making what is usually called a Mary Sue. Mary Sue is basically a character who has too many strengths and not many flaws. I
Okay.
see you have add like doesn't have the power to convince a large number of people. Well, that is I mean like there isn't really much of a flaw in that. And the second thing is it doesn't really help you propel the story, right?
Okay.
So, what I'd recommend is something like, oh, he always second guesses himself, or he doesn't want to rely too much on others, and
Okay.
he things like that. Try to diversify his flaws instead of just not being able to convince a large amount of people, because
Okay.
that is going to be solved at the end of the story, right? Okay, wait 1 second. So in this class, I can see that everyone has finished their I can see that almost everyone has finished it, finished their plot building part. This is really important because when you build your plot, it is one of the first framework that you look to when you write a story. So what I want you guys to do is to write a story, to be now finally go in and write the story. Okay, like for example, I've already written a story. It's about a character called Lena. Basically, what she wants is to find a lost treasure hidden in the forest. I've also already done this part here. Done it. I've already, this is just an example for you guys here. I'll just put it here. If you guys have any questions if you guys have any questions regarding the assignment, you can just ask me now or message me in Zalo, okay? One more thing that I see, hmm, I see that a lot of I see that I want you guys to be aware of some kinds of mistake that I want you guys to be aware of to really just avoid it in general is that some is you guys are creating a lot of what is called a Mary Sue. Mary Sue is basically someone who is too powerful. There is no flaw to them. You need to find something almost that could a flaw that could almost throw them off their tracks in how they really just how they just decide things and make things right. I'll take I think I'll take Alex's character, for example, Cindy the cat. She has a really, she has a lot of good characteristics of cat, which is beneficial to her for some, because being able to climb and hide and just run in general is one of the best ways for them to really just come back home, right? So one of the ways is, but to make it a little more, well, interesting, you could add that, oh, she does not have good balancing skills, so she can be easily so she can be easily put so she can easily fall off the edge, things like that. And that is one of the best when you have a flaw like that, is it becomes very easy for you to make something that goes wrong or something that makes things harder. This is one of the most important things that you need to fix because it is very boring if you try to write about a character who is very good, there's nothing for them to fix, and it's just about someone who was saving the day. It's not as interesting as seeing a character grow throughout. Secondly, is having too much characters is not that good. If you try to introduce too many characters without explaining who they are, how do they react to certain things? How do they interact with the main character themselves? Then it would be very hollow. It would be what you call 2D characters. You wouldn't have that much depth in a character. So instead, you should focus on about 3 characters. Usually it's the sweet spot. At most, I would say maybe like 6 main characters, and make sure the reader can tell them apart. There needs to be very like distinguishing features for all of them, so that we can understand their roles. And it would help for us not for readers not to be confused. It would help readers to be able to tell each other apart easier and to see how each character grows by themselves. And one more thing is you should show, not tell. This is something that I have said from the beginning, and I will say it until the end because it is that important. For example, instead of saying, "Oh, she was scared," you should say you should use action, dialogues, or senses. For example, instead of saying she was scared, you could say her hand shook and she took a step back. Her nerves were running all over the place and she couldn't think straight. Things like that. It is very easy for you to try and really just think of things that you would do if you were scared instead of just saying she was scared. Okay, so that is one of the best ways for you to try and make something that is more make something that is more interesting instead of just something that instead of something that is just telling. When you show, it's going to have more emotions than it would be telling. One more thing, guys. I would for the homework this week, I would want you guys to start writing, and I don't want you guys to like and I want you to write as much as you want. If you are having a hard time to write, you can just write what you are able to write, and I would try to help you and guide you through what you're having trouble with. If you have any questions, I'm always ready I'm always ready, and I can just schedule a one-on-one if that's what you need. So for the homework, I want you guys to start writing. Write as much or as little as you want. I don't want to add any pressure, and I want you guys to just write however you want. If you have any questions or any like part you're having trouble with, you can just message me or you can just leave them there and I will help you in the next class, okay? That being said, this class is over. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye.
Goodbye.